I like this part a lot. Owl behavior. I like this the most. Now, not all owls, contrary to most belief, hoot. They produce, depending on the species, they produce a variation of sounds, from screeches to clinks to screams, literally screams. So you can have the great horned owl doing, then you can have the snowy owl doing, then you can have the common barn owl doing, depending on the species. I think there's another one that I have, I cannot remember. I'll put it in here. But most of them do, like the bigger true owls do hoot hoot, but there's some that make the weirdest of noises. Now, that is a characteristic species call. Now, behaviorally, there are sounds they would make depending on what it is they want. They're very demonstrative of their emotions and their situation or their states at that point in time. On its own, each species have a variation of sounds they can make aside from their characteristic species sound or characteristic species call. So you can have the barn, I'm going to use the barn owl for example. So the barn owl owlets, they screech. They do a lot of that's the best way to describe it. A lot of I don't have the audio. I really don't. I wish I did, but I don't. They do a lot of when they're requesting, when they are telling their mom, oh, I'm hungry, come and feed me, please, kind of thing. Then they chirp when they're in pain or they're in discomfort. I just found that out recently. Then they even have mating calls between each other. So they're very vocal in their behavior, in their communication, and also with their body posture and their body movements. So there's a variation even with their body movements that can help you decipher what's going on with an owl. So there's a variation in how many body movements an owl can make to give you an idea. Or there is a series of movements or a series of body postures an owl can have or can do that can give you an idea of what an owl is feeling like at that particular moment. So there's this behavior called toe dusting. This is when they are very frustrated, they don't like what's going on. So it will take its head, go down and do that like a lot. Like it would you will see it doing the no against its feet. So that's why it's called toe dusting, because its head's going down and it's shaking its head over its toes to tell you that I am not pleased with what's going on, I'm not happy with what's going on. They would triangulate when they're trying to distance or trying to see how far an object is from them. Then they would fluff up. They do this thing where if they're comfortable where they are, they would fluff up their feathers all the way up to their head, and like fluff up all the way up to their head. If you want to know how an owl feels, if an owl is scared, it would slim up and try to make itself as slim as possible against any surface. If you're coming towards it and it starts to move backward and slim itself and try to make itself smaller, it's really terrified of what's going on of you. But if you go towards an owl and it starts to flex its feathers, then clap its beak. It's very loud, just hear like a lot of that. Then it will look at you, size you up like, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Then clap its beak, then toe dust, then front and front, try to make itself look bigger. That's a sign that please move away. We are not happy with who you are. You have entered my private space. You've entered my personal bubble. Please proceed to exit my personal bubble, because if you decide to move any further closer to the owl, it will come for you claws first, not beak first. That's chickens. It will come for you claws first. It will use those sharp claws and dig into you, and if you're unfortunate and it gets its beak into you, that's it, you're going to bleed, because those things hurt. They really hurt. That's their typical response to danger, is to front and seem like I'm bigger than you, do not come near me, and lots of hissing like a snake, with a lot of beak clapping, toe dusting, fronting. It's a very demonstrative with how they feel at a particular point in time. Now, in terms of an individual can be found living alone or with a group called the parliament. It's called the parliament of owls. I'm guessing because some cultures believe that owls are wise. So anywho, you can find owls living alone, singly, or you can find them living with a group of owls. They don't necessarily have to be related to live together, but they live in a parliament. Now, sometimes if they live alone, they can decide to meet up with each other during mating season. Now, the difference is that instead of the male going hunting for a female or going scouting for a female, a male will literally sometimes sit where he is based and then make mating calls, and the chick comes, the female owl comes, and he then proceeds to court her. Despite the fact that she's the one that came, he proceeds to court her by bringing food for her, by preening her feathers and all that. Then they proceed to mate. They have a clutch of eggs, which they both take turns taking care of. The male owl and the female owl take turns hunting to bring food to the clutch. The clutch hatch in intervals. They don't hatch like cow chickens that everybody hatches at the same time. No. They hatch in intervals. So the first one will hatch in, like, let's call it day 0. The first owlet will hatch day 0. The next owlet will hatch, let's say, day 3. The next owlet, day 5. In batches. So it's not overwhelming to them, because what they would do is that they would take turns feeding, and they would stay until the owlets can leave the nest, like fly out of the nest. That's almost maturity. So they will stay together until the owlets leave the nest. Some owl species mate for life, while some others have a different partner every mating season. I have facts for you again. I have facts for you again. I'm gonna just look through them because I've mentioned most of them already. Okay, so the most obvious one is that despite the fact that owls have like really huge eyes, the eyes are fixed in their skull, and it's not a circular, like how a human eye is like almost a spherical ball. Their eyes are more tubular and fixed in their skull, so they can't roll their eyes at you. They literally cannot roll their eyes at you, unfortunately. Now, they have so many neck vertebrae, like the bones that make up your neck, that they can turn their head 270, unlike what people like saying that the owls can turn their head 360. No, sorry love, it's 270. 360 means that they might as well just lop their head off. So they can turn their heads 270 degrees. That means from here they can turn their head all the way till about my face will probably face there. The front of my face will be facing the wall. You'll be seeing the back of my head. That's how flexible your necks are. They do not have a crop. Now, they do not have a crop. Unfortunately, it's a good thing. They don't have a crop, because why would you want to store rotten meat inside your body when you could just process it and get it out? So, no, they do not have a crop, luckily for them. The longest owl's wingspan is 2 meters, which is about 6 feet. 6'5". Yeah, about 6'5", 5 inches, and it belongs to the Blakiston. It is the largest owl and can weigh up to like 4.9 kg. The smallest owl is called the elf owl. It's very tiny. That one weighs about 40 grams. It's adorable. It's cute. It's small. It's very, very small. So the elf owl is the smallest owl. That's 40 grams. The Pakistan owl is the largest owl with the largest wingspan, the longest wingspan of 6.5 feet and weighing about 4.9 kg averagely across the species. It's a very big bird. I do not understand. It looks like an eagle, but it's an owl apparently. It's a shocking revelation. Now, I keep forgetting this thing. I don't know why I keep forgetting this thing. The prehistoric ancestor, I read somewhere that the prehistoric ancestor of the owl was about 3 feet tall. Was about 3 feet tall in height. I don't want to start thinking about the wing length, but that bird was 3 feet tall. If you don't know what 3 feet is, go and get a tape rule and measure. That was the height of what a prehistoric owl was. 3 feet. That's how tall it was. It's amazing. But to be fair, mouses were probably a lot bigger then. They were probably very, very big. Females are larger than males. You can sex an owl based on its coloration, or you can select a barn owl based on its coloration. So a male barn owl will have white, like with more white face, then have less spots on its body. But a female barn owl will be bigger than a male. She would have more spots, more dark spots, more brown spots on her body, under her wings. Her face would be a lot darker than the males on. So that's kind of how you can sex them. Now the only way they can lose body heat, the same way dogs lose body heat through panting, the only way owls lose body heat is through their feet. That's literally the only way. So that's why when it's cold, you can find them pulling one leg up into the soft feathers of their body, because they're trying to conserve heat. That's the basic way they conserve heat. All over Nigeria, all the way from the north to south to Lagos State to Ibadan, they are everywhere. The common barn owl is everywhere. I don't know about the other species. The other species have belts across states in Nigeria. The Akan eagle owl, the African wood owl, the African scops owl. We don't have a Nigerian database. I don't think we have a Nigerian database on where they live or the states they live in. So I can't give you a general idea of which states they live in. I'm sorry. Worldwide, they live everywhere. Depending on the species, though, they live everywhere. They are everywhere. Owls are everywhere. Owls are everywhere. Even the African scops owl, the African wood owl, and the jand. So even the African scops owl, the African wood owl, and the jand, they take their time. Threats to this species, the threat to this animal really is superstition. Superstition, deforestation, and human encroachment into reserved areas or nature, because there's always development. Somebody's developing a new plot of land, somebody's developing a new area. So us encroaching on their deprives these animals of places where they would live, where they would mate, where they would reproduce comfortably. An animal will not reproduce if it is not comfortable enough. It would rather maintain itself, stay alive, than reproduce. Superstition in Nigeria, superstition is a major issue. It's a major issue. I think it's really more of culture bleeding into church, because there's nothing in the Bible that says, oh, the owl is an evil creature, kill it on sight each time you see it. No, I think it's more of culture bleeding into church, culture bleeding into Christianity, culture bleeding into religion, that causes this superstition to be really still holding strong. Human beings will kill an owl on sight. Nobody takes time to notice whether the animal is afraid. To be fair, when an animal is afraid, it looks like the animal wants to attack me, while the animal is just afraid. It doesn't really give a damn what's going on. It's just very afraid. So the problem is that in an attempt to defend myself, it was coming to attack me and my family. It was coming to attack. Nigerians usually end up killing these birds, these beautiful birds, because of superstition. Even when I was looking for pictures, of owls in Nigeria, because I needed articles that could tell me where I could find this animal, where in Nigeria have they sighted it and they've brought it, or they've taken pictures. All I could see was just birds, dead owls. My head couldn't take it. I couldn't look further than 3 pictures. In terms of solution, as I think I said in the last video, educate people. They are not evil creatures. The same God that made you is the same God that made your chicken, the same God that made your dog, the same God that made your rabbits, the same God that made the rat that you're trying to kill because they chop fruit, everyone wants to survive. But it's the same God that made these birds, these beautiful birds. So it's not a superstition thing. It is not. The owl probably didn't even know that it was being used to do witchcraft. The owl probably just flew there because okay, so let's fly this way, since human beings are this way. We need to jam more human beings. And guys, still no balance. We should try as much as possible to educate people that they should do their best not to kill the animal. That at most, if they're too afraid to go near the animal, they should just walk away from it. The animal will find its level, but don't injure the animal, don't hurt the animal in a way that even after you walk away from it, the animal can get up or something, or the animal can fly away. Like if you see the animal, just walk away. It's not coming for you, it's not coming for you from your ancestors, it's not coming for you from the spirit realm, it's just there. You need to educate more people. There should be a helpline that people can use to call whenever they sight any animal, really, not just barn owls. When they sight any animal and they're not too sure of how to handle it, or if it is in a place where there's too much human traffic, or the likelihood of human beings interacting with the animal and people getting injured is high, then you have a phone number you call and say, okay, we sighted this thing here. You can then have people that will be dispatched to rescue the animal, take it somewhere else, keep both the animal and the human being safe for the sake of the animal. Let me not say what I was going to say in my head, if not, wahala day. So I am done. Thank you for waiting so patiently. I am sorry this is coming so late. There were a couple of bumps along the road. Sorry, there were a couple of bumps along the road to get to this point, from me being awkward with the camera, and it's a bunch of things. If I look like I'm sweating, I probably am. The weather is hot, and I mean, it's not understanding. I don't understand, but the weather is hot. It's the best way to describe it. Now, so if you like this video, or if you have suggestions, I'm open to suggestions. I'm actually open to suggestions. I'm also open to criticism, but constructive criticism. Nobody's here to listen to you troll on me. I am really not here to listen to you troll on me. So I am open to suggestions, criticisms. Yeah, suggestions and criticisms to what I have said so far. I will also link the article where you can read a lot more. I gave you snippets. That article has a lot more than what I've just said. I will put a Twitter handle of somebody I know that has an animal sanctuary. It's in Lagos. I don't know about Ibadan, but I will put a Twitter handle of somebody who has an animal sanctuary for both regular and like domestic animals like dogs, cats, rabbits, and wild animals like snakes, owls, pangolins. I'll put his Twitter handle in the bio. I say in the bio. I'll put his Twitter handle in the description of the video. So thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu. Kamsahamnida. I hope you liked it. If you did like it, leave a like thingy. Subscribe if you're interested for more content. Thank you.